Hello, toy gun collectors. So I had to get an AK-47. This is, well, we're going to figure out what scale it is. I think it's going to be larger than 1/3, but they're advertised as 1/3 scale. A little warning, this is made of metal and plastic and shouldn't be in humidity or water for a long time because the bolts are going to rust and maybe the paint will start bubbling off or something like that. Okay, and then the back here, the component list there, focus, there you go, and it tells you how to put it together. I'll figure that out in a moment. So as I'm opening this, let's read some Wikipedia. So this is probably the most popular, greatest rifle of all time, maybe. The reason why is, well, of course, I didn't write this article in Wikipedia. Of all the weapons in the world, say like 500 million weapons, they're saying 1/5 of them, or 100 million of the weapons are of a Kalishnakov design. And maybe 75% of those would be AK-47s. So the person that designed this is Kalishnakov, Mikhail Kalishnakov. There is the gentleman right there. So he was a soldier. He was actually injured in war and was sitting around, and other soldiers were wondering, why is it, they don't have so many weapons, but the Germans have fully automatic machine guns. So this guy knew a little bit about weapons, obviously, and designed this weapon. And he designed it to be easy to make, so it would be cheap to make, because the Russian doctrine believed in disposable weapons instead of trying to fix weapons and stuff. So the thing was made of stamped sheet metal, and the tolerances are very loose. And so you could put this into like mud, sling off the mud, and then still shoot the thing. Boy, this thing is just covered in staples. So you can hear the metal of this thing. The number 47 is because that's when the thing was designed, I guess. Okay, so the design work began in 45, but I guess it was recognized to be fully finished in its design in 47. And then I guess in 1949, it was officially accepted into the Soviet forces. Alright, so I'm going to just take all these things out here. I'll just dump them out like so. And then there's a little tape holding this here as well. Alright, so this rifle is not really reliable. It is reliable, it's not really accurate. That's what I'm going for. So it's not a super accurate rifle, but it's gonna fire in most cases, I guess, because of its designed to be more reliable than accurate. Okay, well, you see here we have a metal base, probably die cast painted black. Alright, so we'll put that off to the side. Now the real gun has wood and stocks and foregrips, but this is plastic and is painted to look like wood. It's decent, actually. It's not bad. They painted it lighter brown, and then they printed on darker wood grain patterns, so I think it actually looks alright. A lot better than I thought it was going to be. And it's not symmetric either. Yeah, different grain on both sides. This buttstock is... Oh, that actually is metal. It's cold to the touch. Some of the gold paint is flaked off there, or rubbed off. It does have metal screws, Phillips head screws, holding these little things on. This is metal also, very cold to the touch. This little gold strap D-ring kind of thing. Alright, so let's put that to the side. Yeah, this is plastic, this is plastic. Okay. It would be cool if they're made of wood, but the price would go up significantly. Alright, so looking at the barrel here, okay, so we'll have to figure out how that goes into the body. But yeah, it's very cold to the touch, so it's die-cast metal. And then here you can put it around, I assume, and maybe it'll get ejected later. Or not. No, maybe the round doesn't go in there. Oh, what's going on here? Well, that slid all the way in there, but I'm not sure if that's where it belongs. The magazine, alright, so this is stamped steel, or stamped sheet metal as well on the real gun and on this, but maybe this is brass, but it is stamped folded sheet metal. Look how thin it is, right? So yeah, there's a spring for that. Only three bullets though, but they do look like rifle rounds. I don't know. I have actually shot an AK-47. Yeah, I think either in Las Vegas or Vietnam. Yeah, it definitely feels rattly, a real one, but it fired. But this is really hard to put in. I don't know what the deal is, because it's actually pushing out the backside. So I'm just trying to get on top of that other. But now it's going to the side. So I think, all right, it stacks up twice there. I don't. That doesn't seem right, right? I don't think that's going to feed properly. It's highly questionable. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll just leave it there. I think these are maybe weld marks, some sort of sheet metal welding. Yeah. Okay. You can hear, and actually the end of the spring is sticking out. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be doing that, or if it's supposed to be totally hidden inside of there, but I'm not going to take it apart because I probably won't get it back together. So it's very lightweight, being very small like that. Okay, up here, yeah, this is bent metal as well. Bent sheet metal, I assume. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be kicked out like that. I might have to bend it back. It's thin enough you could bend it back. And I'm not sure what's going on here, if that's primer exposed. Yeah, the gold paint, not the greatest. Maybe it got scratched up in shipping, all the vibration. Okay, now the main receiver. Yeah, this is also, well, no, this is a cast metal right here. It's too thick to be sheet metal. That's also pretty thick there. But the safety lever here is bent sheet metal, stamped and bent. So the safety lever, being really long, because it's supposed to be flicked by your forefingers, it actually is in safe up, and then full auto is the middle, and then the lower is semi-auto. And they did it that way because people under pressure would probably just slam it to the lowest position, and you don't want to have a fully automatic gun if you're not ready for it. So that's actually pretty smart. Obviously, if you keep moving this up and down, or even once, it scratches the gold paint off. But that would actually probably be the case on a real gold-plated AK-47. Okay, so the trigger does have a spring, and that's a little. This is also spring operated to hold the magazine. All right, some screw holes there, and then this is to fit that stand, and some tabs here. This looks like it's cast. So actually, minus the selector, everything else looks like it's cast metal. All right, and then again, this is plastic, this wood grip here, but it's painted well enough to look like wood. Maybe it's hydrographics. I don't know what this is. All right, let's go into this bag. Okay, well, what's nice is it comes with a little Phillips screwdriver, the spring, some sort of black rod, and there's a magnet holding all the little screws together, so that's good. And actually, I gotta get that magnet to grab that, so hopefully you won't lose all your screws. Some of them are like tapping screws, and then others are machine screws, so there must be some tapped machined holes for these to go in. And I have a suspicion maybe the tapping screws are in case you strip a thread out, and then you can go and use one of these to re-tap it. Alright, let's see if I can make sense of these instructions. So this gas tube or whatnot is on the top. This is the front face of the wood stock, and you'll see there's a little tab here and a groove on this, so these align like this. And this is basically holding the wooden parts on. So this is the bottom piece, I guess it goes like this, and the top piece goes into this little top cavity. I think I have it backwards, like so. Okay. Or what else? This must go back further. I see, like this. Alright, so this wood thing butts up against that. Maybe. Or maybe it's supposed to be forward, or even more back. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, it's gotta be like this. there's a little bit of a tab on this plastic lower grip here. So I'll push, see, so that little tab there is supposed to sit in this groove, this notch. So that's pushed all the way back in there. Yeah, then this larger diameter goes there. So these two are supposed to be close to parallel, but for some reason, yeah, I feel like this doesn't go back enough, right? That's, well, I don't know what else to do. That seems to be all I can do. So now it's saying I have to screw something together. Oh, I see. Oh, there's a hole in the bottom of the barrel. And so this gold is supposed to be pushed back more. Oh, there we go. I think I aligned it now. And so I think it's one of these flat-topped chamfered bolts here. And so the screwdriver, that means the barrel hole must be tapped already. Yeah, okay. So that's that. Next thing is taking this little steel rod and running it through these holes here. This one, and there's a resting hole here. Please leave a comment. What is this? Is this a cleaning rod? Or does it have something to do with the action? I assume it's a cleaning rod. It's just so thin, but I don't really know. Alright, so then the muzzle, you can see, is threaded here and threaded here. Boy, this could have been a lot cleaner though, with the extra molding flash, but okay. I think these are supposed to be facing upwards, so the seam is more like this. I'm just looking at the picture on the box, so I assume it's this way. Maybe that's to keep the nose down when it fires, compensate or something. Alright, so now we take this whole barrel assembly and we made it to this, and you'll see the two holes. Okay, so those are tapped as well, so we're just using the machine screws here. That's one. I'm not tightening it all the way yet. I want to make sure I have them threaded first. Also trying to catch the thread, but that hole is not the cleanest. Alright, it still worked. Alright, so those threads are caught. I still don't think maybe it should be super tight until everything's together. Okay, so that is that. Now I'm taking the charging handle, and it should be on the right side of the gun. And, oh, must go this way maybe. So these slots here, and you'll notice this I-beam kind of thing. So that must probably go in like this. And the bullet's going to rest in there. Alright. So now we have the spring go over this guide rod kind of thing. And I guess maybe, oh no, the bullet doesn't go in this. Yeah, that makes sense. It's the charging handle. So this guide rod goes in here, and then that I-beam rests in that groove. Oh, look at what's happening here. So that didn't, what is going on? Why is that not being caught? Where'd the rest of it go? Look at this. That thing fell out. So that's not cool. So you gotta, I might have to glue this in place to keep this thing in. Let's do this again. Take this out. Take this out. Yeah, look at that. It totally fell out. Huh. Yeah, that's not good. Wow, that's really weak. If it... That's not good. I guess I'm gonna have to crazy glue that in place. I also don't know if it's... I don't think it's sitting flush right there. But let's see about this side. This side, it's, well, I can't say it's flush either. It's sticking out a tiny bit. Alright, so I'm gonna have to go add some crazy glue in there. Luckily, since it's on the inside, I guess it doesn't need to be very pretty. put in a pretty decent amount, and also maybe on this lower, this whole ridge here. So hopefully that's gonna get as much of that side, this whole side surface, that corner. Press it down. Alright, so that is actually flush now. But I have to let that rest for a few minutes. Now I'm noticing, I was just curious if this will come out also, and it looks like it will, so yeah, this could have been designed better, I think. I think they could have had more metal or also around these pins. See, this is the only one that doesn't want to come out, but the back side here is clearly wanting to come out. So I think I should remove it and glue this in place as well. Oh, look at that. That totally broke off the peg. So, not cool. Yeah, they could have easily had more material around these holes, right? If the thing just has to, this thing has to slide, they should have had much more material so the thing doesn't, well, on this side it looked like the holes are breaking out. And then, yeah, this, oh well. So anyways, you're gonna have to definitely, I think, reinforce this with some crazy glue, or if you were really crazy, like JB Weld, but if this breaks again, I will probably use some sort of epoxy. Alright, so that's the way it should be, right? I think the crazy glue will be fine, but be careful, you know, if that gets on your skin, I would have to just cut my thumb off of right there. That's the skin of my thumb, because somehow a drop of that glue got there instead. Alright, anyways, let's take this cover here, and you gotta get the front end over something first. It's weird, there's no, I guess it just rests underneath this ledge, this little hook right here. That's it, that's the only thing holding the front end on. And then you gotta get the rear around this, I don't even know what that is. Please leave a comment if you know what that is. So, that. Well, I don't know. What's supposed to keep this thing in the forward position? Oh, I think well, no, I was thinking maybe this back end is supposed to rest in this groove. That's what I have to assume is the case. But, I don't know if there's enough room. It's clearly butting up against this. That's not good either. I'm gonna try without the spring. Oh, but if I do that, I might, no, I guess I can't get it off, maybe. Or maybe the stock is just supposed to keep it in place. But why else would this groove be here? Jeez, look at this. Now the back one came off. So it's now stuck to this. So you really gotta basically glue all three of these plates in, because they're not from the factory. You just gotta make sure that the open side is facing forward, or you'll never get that this thing into it. So I'll come back again. So I think it might be better to do it this way. I took the front end off because I'm positive this has to rest in that groove. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get this in that groove first. There, you see? That's how it's supposed to rest. But you wouldn't be able to do that if the front end was on. But now I can just take the front end, right, and make sure it slides over that piece of metal, which it just did right there. So now I can screw these things back together. Yeah, let me come back. So it is screwed back, but it's kind of poorly designed. You either want to shave off some of this. You see what's happening? This metal is so long that it's pushing this downwards. These are tight now, but there's not supposed to be this gap, right? This wood is supposed to be flush against that, so the only solution I think that you could really do is to literally shave away the difference of this gap off of this sheet metal upper here, and then it would all sit straight again. Yeah, it can be done with just a nail file. Yeah, well, maybe I'll come back. Hold on a second. So it's better to take away a little than a lot. So what I'm going to do is just take this Sharpie. I'm going to mark this here. And same on the other side. And basically I'm going to sand off until I can't see that Sharpie anymore. Because I feel like that Sharpie is maybe the gap there. But yeah, I guess you do it a little at a time. So yeah, I just got a small nail file. I'm just basically trying to take off this whole top arc. Still more to go. It's funny that I have to sit here and gunsmith a 1/3 scale toy. Alright, well, I would say that black Sharpie is gone from that side. Maybe a little more from this side. I'll put it together, see if it's any better. Alright, so if you want to do this yourself, there was a little bit of some bumpage or whatever, you know, some sort of extra flash, so I sanded those smooth, and so that's colliding or a little landing flatter with that. I did remove, you know, a bunch of material, so you do have a little bit of a dog leg here. You know, on the horizontal, it's still the original length, but maybe I took off like maybe 2 millimeters or something like that. And in fact, I probably still want to take off a little bit of the top here. But you'll notice there's this bump on the top of this cover, this like raised slot, right? So what's happening now is this slot would collide with this here. So I actually took this diamond tool here, you know, and I basically ground out grinding out a recess for that slot, because without it the slot's going to be the limiting factor, but you don't want to remove that thing, right? So this is probably as good as I can get it. It's clearly better than it was before, but yeah, you're gonna have to accommodate you know, that's protrusion there, and I could probably remove a little bit more to make it maybe. Alright, so that's what's going on. Alright, so there it is. It actually sits at least kind of parallel. Still a little wiggly, even though I tightened these quite a bit. You don't want to tighten them too much. You know, die-cast metal is soft. You'll strip the threads out. That's, again, why I think it comes with those, like, wood screws. Alright, so the last thing to do is to add the stock. It's pretty self-explanatory. The longer tab would be on the bottom, right? Now these, actually, no. These are going to require those plastic screws, the wood screws. So they're going to basically self-tap themselves. Ooh, boy, that thing actually made a crack. You know what? I am going to try the machine screws, because I think they're a smaller diameter. So they should still tap anyways, right? Yeah, alright. So use the machine screws. They can just tap, make their own threads. I'm pushing down as I'm screwing it, because if I don't, I think I'm just going to strip out the hole. Alright, so that you definitely don't want to tighten much, because you'll strip out the hole. doesn't help that I cracked it wider. Oh well. Learn from my mistakes. Just use the machine screws on the stock. Alright, at least that's sitting flush. Yeah, it's a little wobbly, but I think I already cracked it open, right? So, unless I add some epoxy back in there. But I don't think that's so necessary. I guess, well, I don't know. I just don't think you can get it really tight. So this thing has nothing to do with anything. It was just keeping maybe these two halves of plastic together. And I have to assume maybe these two also are helping keep these together. So yeah, that's a little wobbly, but what can you do? Alright, so there's actually one extra machine screw and 3 of these plastic or wood screws. We'll get those out of the way. You notice there's a lot of gold paint missing here. That's just the way it was. So unfortunate. The sight here obviously goes up and down, but it doesn't stay in position because there's no like spring washer there. So it's just, unless, no, I don't see any way to do it other than taking that out and trying to shim something in between, but I think I've had enough try to modify this already. Okay, so the last thing to do is put the magazine in. I think you gotta hook the front first. There. And then that thing is supposed to rest in that opening. I guess that's in. It's just not locked up there. So that's not great either. No, it's totally missing the mark actually. No, I guess it is in there now. Just doesn't seem right. Yeah, alright, well, it still looks like an AK. It's just ideally it would maybe be like that, right? But, okay. So now the question is, will this eject bullets? I don't know. Let's cock this back. Now, the bullets aren't even remotely close to this bolt, but, well, let's try it. No. So this will not eject bullets. It just has, you know, bullets in there. So to get this mag out, though, you're going to have to push this forward, I guess. Push the mag forward as well. And then you can clear that thing from the hole. Maybe you just want to keep that forward all the time. And then leverage this out. Alright. I almost feel like maybe this should be tightened a little bit. Because it's, you know, the bullet's literally just coming out the back side, right? And since this doesn't engage the bullets, right? Yeah. So there's no way. There's nothing. There's no push mechanism to ram the bullet up in there. Okay, well, that's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna push this down a little bit. Yeah, I'm literally just gonna use my thumbs. Just so that thing doesn't want to come out the back. Pinch these a little bit more. It still comes out though. Alright, well, alright, I guess you're not gonna lose it. So getting this in again, you gotta hook the front end, like so. There it goes, alright. It just doesn't rest parallel like that. Just, I feel like this tooth wants to be a little bit longer, or maybe it couldn't be. Seems like there's a lot of things that could have been designed a little bit better, a little bit tighter, but it is what it is. Last thing I want to do is check the scale of this thing. The internet is telling me this thing is 87 centimeters long. So let's find out what the length of this is. You're probably not going to see it, but it is, I would say 28.5 centimeters. So 87 divided by 28.5. This is 1/3 scale. It's not an exact 3.333, but it is a third scale, close enough for me, so that's pretty good. The reason why I did that is because my other rifle, after I got the silencer off, I measured this, and this is more like 2.6 scale, this MCX. So it's a little bit bigger than it should be, but it's still awesome. This one will actually eject rounds. Oh, I took the bullets out because I like to just fidget with it. You'll have to look up the review, but this will eject the bullets it comes with. It only comes with three rounds. Alright, so here we have the old school, maybe the most popular old school rifle today. And then a very recent modern, almost like an SMG that shoots rifle rounds. But if I did get the silencer, hold on. Yeah, so it is actually very similar in length if you were to put the silencer on. Be careful with this. The silencer wants to take the muzzle off with it, so I red thread locked the muzzle. Yeah, these are now very similar in length, but I actually prefer the look of the thing with this tri-lobe. This isn't actually in the right orientation. According to the internet, this should be vertical, and these are more twisted like that, but I just like the look of it this way. It's a toy, I don't care. So now I guess the last bit now is the stand, and it works fine. Yeah, it's gonna rest a little bit on the stock, but yeah, it seems to be fine as far as its intention and its execution as well, so very good. A few last things before we let it spin. I did crazy glue a little bit here and here because it was just falling out. There's no hole in this plastic, so this rod is just butting up against the plastic itself, and yeah, so it's just too loose. Within the actual front sight there is a little raised pin. I'm sure that's quite accurate. Unfortunately, with the rear sight, it's going to be hard to tell because the thing doesn't actually have a notch in it, right? Oh, here's the notch. Never mind. Yeah, so there is a notch. It's just that there's nothing that holds this thing up in place. I guess you just use some poster putty, right? Or here, there. Oh, look at this now. Look at this cover. It's not aligned as well as it could be. It seems like it's crooked off to the side, but actually, maybe that's the way the real ones are. It's sheet metal, so I suppose if you glued this side down on to the lower, sorry, I'm knocking things around, but let me try to squeeze it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I also filed away the front, but I suppose if you glued it, you could get it to look more vertical, but I think I've had enough. It's tested my patience enough. So it is cool that you can, move the bolt back and forth. You can see the spring in there as well. And then, yeah, the safety selector works well enough. Yeah, there's a little ball detent kind of thing. It's actually just pushed out, I guess, from this side and is resting in these grooves there. And then I guess that flare out is intentional because you'll see, the safety selector goes up into it. All the way up, maybe that's actually safe, right? Because it keeps the bolt from moving back. I'm pretty sure that's the way it was designed. Yeah, and so now this one is full auto, and then that is single fire. Cool. I learned about the AK-47. I never knew much other than, the designer's name, Mikhail Kalishnakov. So we might as well let this go for a spin. I know Goatguns has an M1 Garand, and the problem is it has the plastic wood stuff. If I ever get to America, maybe I'll get one, or if I find it on AliExpress or something, uh, I'll pick it up. But yeah, I think that's one of the greatest American rifles of all time. Alright, well, that's it for today. Long video, but yeah, you might require some modification just to make this thing go together without falling apart. You know, the pins in those loose panels inside of this thing, that's really just poorly done. But luckily, some crazy glue will fix it, and you're not going to even see it if it's sloppy work like I did. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you the next time I get one of these things in. Bye.